Here at First Down Playbook, we spent the last week installing a youth football version and a varsity version of the duo play. And we just want to spend a little bit more time on it here before we move on. Let's face it, the reason we like duo is because it gives us double teams at the point of attack. And you want to make sure that, if at all possible, you can find those double teams and keep those double teams when you run this play. That's why a duo is usually better to an under front, a 30 front, because you've got a 5 technique, you've got a shade, 2 players in here, shade in this case right here with the tackle, 5 technique with the end, where you can get 2 double teams, movement on the line of scrimmage, back to the Mike backer's lap right here. Same thing in this situation right here, double team with the tackle, tight end, get movement on that end all the way back to the strong safety. Now kick out your Sam. Now, if you get an over front, all right, it's just not that, it's not as good a play. Now, you can have the best tight end you want, but probably you're going to have a mismatch right here with this defensive end and that tight end. You can still run the play schematically, it looks good on paper and all that, but if this defensive end, particularly if they're playing a 7 technique, it's going to be really hard for your tight end to block. So the answer we would recommend is to always have, particularly if you're playing a 40 front, have a check with me and run the duo to the shade in the 5. And I understand that your left tackle, left guard may not be as good as your right tackle, right guard. But if you'll just come in and I'm just going to flip the play around here, all right, and we're just going to run this play back over here. And then I'm going to shift my F over. They'll obviously kick out the 9. Now you're just going to double down with this tight end, all right, and now you're going to have your double over here with the shade with your center and guard. And so now what you've got is you've got the exact same play, all right? You got the exact same play, you're just going to the left with it, all right? And that's important because, once again, a play is not quite as good when you run it the other way. You can find yourself, having to throw it out of the game plan that week and that type of thing, and there's no reason for it. Right now, this gives you a good shot right here of running it regardless of whether they set the front, to the left or to the right. One other way that you can get to it would be this. If you came out and you wanted to run it to the right and you really liked your personnel over here, take your backside tackle, move them over here beside your strong side tackle. All right, so what they'll probably do is they'll adjust, but all you've got right here now is you've turned this 3 technique now into a shade. Now you're going to get a double team with the guard and tackle, and now what you've done is you've turned this defensive end into a 5 technique. Now your tight end, or extra tackle, and your tight end will have a double team to the strong safety. These two will be double teaming back to the Mike, and now your F is going to kick out the Sam. Your H just needs to widen this course 1 player because you're in an unbalanced set right here. But just remember that the primary reason we like duo is because we would like to have the double teams at point of attack. If you don't get what you want, there are still a couple ways that you can adjust your front to get the 5 and the shade where you can keep your double teams.